Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the pretty incredible story of Alice, a super sophisticated AI sales agent. So, how do you build an AI that doesn't just, automate tasks, but actually learns like a brand new employee? We're going to break down exactly how her creators built her brain piece by piece. All right, let's start with a number: 50,000. That is how many emails an AI, this AI named Alice, can send out in one single day. I mean, that is a scale of outreach that's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. Now, let's look at another number, about 50. That's what a top-performing human sales rep, an SDR, can send in a day if they're really hustling. The difference isn't just big, it's absolutely massive. So you have to be wondering, right? How on earth does Alice manage that kind of volume and still write emails that are actually good and personalized? Well, the secret isn't just simple automation. It all comes down to how her brain was designed from the ground up to learn and use information about the companies she's selling for. But this brilliant solution didn't just appear out of thin air. Before they got to where they are now, the team at 11X, that's the company behind Alice, they were dealing with a huge problem. Their first attempt at feeding Alice information was, to put it lightly, a total mess. See, this old system, which they called the library, was a gigantic bottleneck. Just imagine you're a new customer. You're all excited to get going, and bam, you're hit with a mountain of forms. You had to manually type in every last detail about your company, your products, your case studies. It was a nightmare. It caused huge delays, and because the information was so messy, the emails Alice wrote, they just weren't very good. So all that frustration, it led to a really big idea, a total aha moment. What if they could just flip the entire model on its head? Instead of being spoon-fed structured data, what if Alice could just learn on her own? And that's exactly what they did. They shifted from what they called a push model, where the seller had to do all the work, to a pull model. In this new world, Alice could proactively go out and pull in all of a company's knowledge by herself, just by reading their existing documents, websites, and even watching their videos. The whole idea was to copy how you'd onboard a new human sales rep, right? You wouldn't hand them a stack of forms to fill out. No, you'd give them a folder full of marketing materials, case studies, and press releases, and just say, "Here, go learn." They wanted Alice to do that exact same thing, to build her own knowledge base automatically. So let's get into the fun part. How did they actually build this learning brain? The engine running under the hood is a really powerful process called retrieval augmented generation. You'll hear it called RAG. This is the secret sauce that makes a regular language model way, way smarter and more fact-based. This whole process, this RAG pipeline, it has 5 key steps. First, they parse all the data. Then they chunk it into smaller pieces. Then they store it so it can be searched. Then they retrieve it when Alice needs it. And then there's a final step they added, which is absolutely brilliant: visualization. Okay, first step, parsing. Think about it. You can't just shove a PDF or a video file into a language model and expect it to understand. It needs clean text. So parsing is that critical first step of turning all those different files into clean, organized text that the AI can actually read and make sense of. Now, building the tech to parse all those different formats, that's a huge job in itself. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, they made a really smart strategic call. They decided to lean on other companies, specialized vendors, who already do this stuff really well. This let them move so much faster and use the best tools for the job. Okay, so now you've got all this text, but you can't just dump a 50-page document into the AI's short-term memory and ask it a specific question. You'll get a terrible answer. That's where chunking comes in. They use this clever waterfall approach, breaking down huge documents into smaller, bite-sized pieces that are all related, making sure to keep the original context intact. And where do all these little chunks of knowledge live? Well, they're kept in a special kind of database called a vector database. The team went with Pinecone, a big leader in this space, because it just made their lives easier. It's hosted in the cloud, so no extra servers to manage, and it was super easy to set up. But the most important part is that it lets Alice search for information based on its meaning, not just keywords. That is the key to finding the perfect piece of info for any email. Now we get to retrieval, and this is where Alice's brain really starts to shine. She's not just doing a simple Google search. Nope. She's using a much more advanced kind of RAG, what you could call deep research RAG. This means she's basically a little research agent. She can make a plan, pull information from multiple different sources, and then put it all together to create a really smart, relevant response. Okay, so they've built this incredibly powerful thinking brain for Alice. But that creates another huge problem, a problem that comes with any powerful AI system that kind of works on its own. How do you get people to actually trust it? I mean, their customers were trusting Alice to be the voice of their company. They had to know she wasn't just going to go rogue and make stuff up. The solution they came up with was just so smart and totally unexpected. They decided to let users literally peek inside Alice's brain. What they built is this amazing interactive 3D map of Alice's entire knowledge base. Every single little dot you see there is one of those chunks of information we talked about. And they're all organized by meaning. By making the AI's brain visible and letting people explore it, they demystified the whole thing. It was a powerful way to show people exactly what Alice knows, and, more importantly, to build that crucial trust. So, after going through this whole journey of building such a complex AI system, basically from scratch, what can we all learn from it? What are the big takeaways from this project out on the frontier of AI? Well, I think there are 3 really big lessons here. First, building a good RAG system is way more complicated than it looks. It's full of tiny little decisions that can have a huge impact. Second, don't aim for perfection right away. Just get a working version out there, get it into production, and then use real data to make it better. And finally, don't feel like you have to build everything yourself. Lean on those specialized vendors and let them help you. The story of how Alice's brain was built is a really powerful blueprint for anyone building these kinds of intelligence systems. But it also leaves us with this huge, critical question for the future. As these AI agents get smarter and more autonomous, how do we solve the new problems that pop up around trust, cost, and control? That's a question we're all going to be grappling with. Thanks for watching.